Now for my favorite pen test war story. I was on a web application test. Actually, it wasn't my test; it was one of my coworkers. But I got to kind of jump in and help him with it, and it was an interesting tool where you uploaded data and that data got manipulated and analyzed. So it was clear to me that it seems architecturally that there's kind of a front end to it and then some back end processing of the file that you upload. And what I was able to do and figure out is that they were using scripts to send the file from the front end to the back end. And so, and it was like, and I figured out it was like a bash script, so like a Linux-based bash functions. And I was able to manipulate and make the script do things it shouldn't by manipulating the file name that I was uploading to the server. So I'd put in like backticks and single quotes and things of this nature so that I could essentially do what's like a SQL injection attack, but against a bash script. So I could then kind of escape out of their call to their program and run other programs on the host that I wanted to run. And I was able to make it so I could get that box to make a reverse shell connection back to me as an attacker. I could get a low-level privilege or low-level shell on that box. And then I looked at the box and it was missing a couple patches. And I used a privilege escalation technique to go from a low-level web user all the way to root. So on a web application test, I was able to go all the way to root of the environment. And then actually then beyond that, it got even more fun because I saw that they actually had multi-factor authentication using Duo. So like when administrators would log in, they would log into the box and then they had about 25 different administrators that could log in. And so I was messing with their developers because I had now access to be able to the secure shell in as root, but I wanted that multi-factor authentication. I didn't need it. I was just playing with them. So then I MFA fatigued them where I would say, oh, choose phone number one. Go ahead and send them an MFA request, and I do it 5 or 6 times. And I go through the list trying each user that had access to the box until somebody said, yep, go ahead and let them in. But I didn't need to. I mean, I was just seeing if I could, if they were then also vulnerable to this MFA fatigue attack as well. But I had already had root level access to their organization. And so what are the takeaways from this? Basically, sanitize your inputs, right? Anything that comes from an end user you cannot trust. And in this particular case, they took the file name that a user was uploading and they were passing that unsanitized into a shell script. And that kind of led to a disastrous consequence where we could actually take over the entire environment because of it. So sanitize your inputs and don't trust anything you get from the users.